Hey everyone, how are you? This is Lori Mueller with StampinDreams.com coming to you on Sunday, May 1st. Happy May Day! So I am really excited about today's project because it's a little sneak peek of what's coming out in the new catalog. And so I have been really busy creating swap cards. And you may be wondering, what does swap cards mean? It means that there's one person that has designated themselves as a host. They have invited anybody and everybody that wishes to participate to create one unique card and to create enough for everybody that's in the party. So if there's 15 people, if there's 20 people, if there's 75 people, you make 75 or 20. In my case, I made 16 of one and 17 of another of the same card. I ship those off to the host and then they proceed to shuffle them out to all of the guests that are part of that group. And then I get in return 16 or 17, whichever group arrives first, brand new creations that I didn't have to put my mind and my dreams so hard at work to create, or the time to create new designs and creations. So I'm super excited. I cannot wait for this catalog to go live because you guys are going to love it. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Bonnie. Nice to see you. So I have been busy with that. I got them mailed out. It was Friday. And so they've been received. But I am going to share one of the swap cards that I created for you using new products out of the new catalog. So I'm featuring a stamp set, a bundle, and then a solo die set that so kind of a mix of everything. And then I'm going to implement some of the new in colors. They are beautiful. They're vibrant. They're bold, they're cheery, they make you happy. Oh, just love, love, love this grouping of colors. And I tell you what, Stampin' Up! Doesn't disappoint when they select the new series of in colors that are coming out each year. Although I'm really gonna miss Misty Moonlight and Bumblebee. I keep running across those two colors and I just, I'm trying not to tear up, but I have my stash that I can continue using for whichever projects that are not for show and tell in my business, but that I can continue creating with on a personal side note for family, friends, etc. So hello, Chris. Hey, Linda. So good to see you all. So I think that I'm going to get straight to the point today and start stamping. So come join me. All right. So let's do a couple of tweaks here of my table. Get us all straightened out. All right. So as you can see, here are two of the stamp sets. The Fresh Cut Flowers is a solo. It doesn't have a corresponding die or a punch. Hey, Linda, nice to see you. But the Sending Smiles does. It has a coordinating set of dies. And there's a lot of them in there. So a lot of them will coordinate with the images, even the sending. And then there's extras that are little side notes. For instance, this little guy right there. And then these two sentiment pieces. Now you can use these sentiments without using the dies, but oh my gosh, they look so cute. I just love the little indent at the ends of them, and I like a nice clean cut. Not saying that our trimmers don't clean cut your sentiment edges or the strips or whatever, but I don't know, there's just something about having a little embossed edging around the sentiment piece, and it just really enhances on this part. So this is a two-step per se stamping and die cutting. So you can die cut this image out as a single, so you can ink it up and then die cut it out, or you can use it as a solo on your cardstock and then use a complementary or a coordinating color from your project to overlay this thin piece over top of this one. So you can get a lot of mileage out of that particular set of dies that coordinates or doesn't have to coordinate with this stamped image that's part of the set. So this one is a photopolymer. Oh, so here I have, I put my little extras that I've done. So this is what I was mentioning, that if you ink up the words sending, you can die cut it with this piece. Or just, you know, if I didn't have this inked, you could overlay a coordinating color over top of this one. So here's a little sneak peek of some of the new colors, as well as some of the images that go in there. So I just kind of store those in my case. This one is a rubber mount. So I've got most of them already put together, but because it doesn't have any sentiments, this is kind of my focus for my card today. It doesn't have any sentiments or words or anything, so I'm putting this one together with that. And I love when we can have that opportunity to pull in another stamp set that has words to it. But even if it has words, you can still mix and match as well. So don't let that stop you. But we're also going to bring in another set of dies. These are two solo sets of dies that are available in the new catalog. And this one's called Stylish Shapes. I love all the stitching. We have squares back and we have circles. Now we have layering circles, but they don't have the stitching to them. But I'm so happy to see squares coming back. And then this one, the dots and spots. This was really fun. I have some other ideas that I've got in mind. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining me. That I'm going to use this particular die. So it's literally, as it says, it's dots and then spots. So these little circles all die cut out. So we are going to also feature some of the new in colors. These are the ink pads. And then I've got one set of the blends, because we do have blends in all of these colors. And then I'm also going to use one of the Stampin' Write markers, because a portion of this image that I'm going to feature has such really tiny areas that a Stampin' Blend might, cause me to color outside the lines. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Write marker, and I'll share a little tip on that one. So that is what we're going to feature today. And this is my lovely card. Ooh, love it. Fresh Freesia. Oh my gosh. And so you can see all of the different textures, layers, and coloring of my Stampin' Blends. And this Parakeet, or Starry Sky ink, it has, oh my gosh, it really complements. It depends on what you pair it up with that can kind of bring in kind of a bluish or a deep, deep purple. And this designer series paper, you're probably wondering where that's coming from. It is from our new Tea Boutique designer pack, and it is a 6x6, and there's all sorts of images that relate to tea. And, I kind of look at this as a flavoring that image. And then also there's some florals, teapots, other images. And then on the back side, you have more of the geometric and tiny patterns that can offset and coordinate. So we're going to use this, and I'm also going to share with you how I was able to generate 20 cards using 5 sheets. So I did have to open up a second pack, but I'll show you how I got the most out of my paper. So this is the card. And as you can see, the different dies that I've got setting on here, and then generated the inside and colored. Hey, Holly, nice to see you, girl. All right, so let's get started by bringing in all of our supplies. And here is a snap you can take of the measurements and the supplies that I used. And the one thing that I forgot to add were the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. The basic white, I used that as well on my project. So if you want to add that or make a mental note, or just by the picture of my project, you can figure that out. So I'm focusing on fresh freesia, and I've already die cut a few of the things simply because I don't need, excuse me for Sophie. Let me see if I can kind of hush her up a little bit. Our neighbors are outside, and so she always has to say hello from indoors, of course. So we will, so now she's going to go to the door and proceed to bark, I'm sure, there. Let me see. Oh, she'll be good. I have her today because she is limping. She's very gimpy today. She jumped off of the bed and kind of hurt her right shoulder, so she's kind of gimpy. And to try and protect her from her sister pup, who is a wild animal right now, and trying to give her a little break. So, all right, so we are going to start with, let's see, why don't we go ahead with the die cut of the dots and spots. All right. And I'm going to bring in, I need to bring the big boss in because of the width of my cardstock. And how you'd think that you might have like a Swiss cheese edging, but I just so happened to, by accident, figure out, one, my layer. I didn't even concentrate on how this would look on my spots and dots die, but it happened to work. So I'm going to work in between the dots that are layered, or in rows. So as long as I've got equal spacing between this, and then here and here, I will have centered the dots that are underneath the cardstock that we can't see. So I'm going to focus on getting this nice and squared up. Looks good. And this will be easy to lay down. So I'll just hold it, and then I kind of bring my fingers out of underneath there, and we'll run this through. Now, when I first had my very first die cut with this die, it was like, I don't know, you could almost say it's a crafter's dream or a crafter's horror. And you might understand once I show this. I had all the dots, they were laying on here, and it's like, oh my gosh, all these dots. The first instant thought in my head was shaker cards. Look at all of the confetti that you can make with this die, right? It's already, now these all have to brush out of there, but they were all laying here on my very first cut. And I thought, but then, you start saving all these dots. You need a little container to put them in. And then you need a goal of working on your shaker cards right away so you don't stockpile on, because it's easy to stockpile. So that was my kind of a mixed emotions of glee and fear. So I don't know how many of my friends who are here today or joining me later, if you are in the same boat as me, but yeah, I tend to find other uses for some of the remnants that get left behind. And my allergies are just running like crazy. So we can go ahead and attach this layer down on the card front. And instead of, trying to figure out how to do this, I went down the row of the voids and made certain that I had little dots. And then you can even go across this way if you wanted. I didn't try and add adhesive to every area of the backing, just primarily around those dots on the edges so that it doesn't get caught on something, the envelope or something else that might be up against it. Oops, I overdid it on that one. All right, so we can, like that, put that away. So we're done with this layer. Now to share with you how I got the most out of my 6x6 designer paper, because when you're working on a card swap, you really have to pay attention or try to figure out how to get the most out of your cardstock for the quantity of cards that you're making. So my thought was I was doing 4x2s, which meant that I could get 3, because this is 6 inches, I could get 3 across here. And then this, because it was 4, and then overall it's 6 inches, it left me with a 2-inch one that I could cut down to 4 inches. So I got 4 out of each sheet. Now in a paper pack, you only get 4 sheets of the patterns. So that was 4 times 4 is 16, but I was making 20. So in my second pack of paper, I could just steal 1 sheet and finish my project as a whole. So that was how I was able to utilize with efficiency for my project. So this one, I went ahead and butted up the edging to the edge of the vellum, and I just adhered it like that. Let's see, I don't think there's an up or down to this pattern, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it and make certain I have it centered here. There we go. Now I'm going to be popping this layer up on my card front. So we'll go ahead and add our dimensionals. And the perfect thing about this is that I can use the card or the designer paper as my hiding spots for my dimensionals. So that way I don't have to worry about the vellum showing them off like that. And I think I'm going to add in, I'm going to do this so that it's not caving in right here. Just a little bit of support right there. So take this off. Oh, before I take this off, let's see if I can put that back on there. There we go. I want to put my baker's twine around this piece, and we'll wrap it around towards the bottom section of it, because I'm going to have my sentiment towards the top. Now, I'm a bow maker. I love to make bows. I know a lot of my crafty friends are not favorable of them, but I don't know, the more I make them, there are some ribbons though that don't work on, they don't work with me. Let's just say that. I can work with them, but they're not working with me. So I'm going to leave it about right there. Now I can add this to my card front. So if you haven't heard already, Stampin' Up! Is offering a wonderful incentive to anyone who loves Stampin' Up! Products and enjoys the camaraderie and discount on your products, they're offering a new starter kit promotion that you can get some of these in colors as an add-on to your starter kit. So that is going to be awesome to start opening up on May 3rd. And then it goes through the month of May. So if you have anyone or you know of anyone who buys a lot of Stampin' Up! Products, this would be the best time to start implementing this. All right, so I am going to ink up. So contact me. I guess I forgot to say that part. So contact me. Let me know if you would like to join my Stampin' Up! Family. All right, so we are going to ink this image up, not all of it. I'm just going to ink up a good portion, 2/3 of it with my Memento. And I'm using Memento because it is necessary for the Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use a scrap paper here and get as much of it on here as I can. Now, when I do my card swaps, when it comes to things like this, I love to use my Stamparatus. It is my best tool. It helps me get through my stamping fast and easy, and to make certain that it's all consistent and that I don't have any halos, because a Stamparatus will definitely help you ensure that you're not having any halos if you start teetering with your images, especially sentiments. And so it just makes the frustration level next to nothing. All right, so I'm going to let this dry. It'll dry really quick, but I'm just going to go on to the next stamping. And we're going to use Starry Sky. Look at that. Isn't that a pretty, pretty color? Hey, Jewel. Hi, Pam. Nice to see you. All right, so we are going to pull out the sentiment, a card to say hello. Now, you can use the rest of the, sending a card to say hello, but I'm just going to use it as a solo because it sounds good to me to use as a solo. Oh, see, here we go. Here's our dots and spots. All right, so and because it's photopolymer, I can see right through. And I'm gonna try and not teeter it, but give it ample pressing. There we go. Lovely. And that was Starry Sky. That's one of the new in colors that you are going to absolutely fall in love with. All right, next is to do our coloring. So we'll bring this in. I've got both light and dark of Fresh Freesia, both light and dark of Parakeet Party. Oh, isn't that, I just love these two colors together. It's so vibrant. And then I'm going to pull out the Sorbet, Sweet Sorbet Stampin' Right marker. All right, so the reason I'm pulling out the marker is because either one of these tips is a little too much. But on our Stampin' Right marker, we have an end that you can actually write a message that coordinates with any of the cardstocks or the ribbons or any colors that you're using as part of your project. Hi, Lori. Hello, how are you? So I'm going to use this part to actually color in these tiny little, I don't know what kind of a flower or accent, that is growing with this bouquet or has been put in with the bouquet. But it's just enough ink that I can fill in these tiny little areas, just like that. right, and now I need to locate my crushed curry. There we go. And again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Right marker because on this end is the marker end, and I'm not worried about blending or doing anything. And plus, we don't have a Stampin' Blend in this color. We have it in Daffodil Delight, but not in Crushed Curry. So I'm going to add my crushed curry, and these colors that you're seeing me use are all pulled from the Boutique Designer Series paper pack. So I'm just using the colors that were already coordinated in that paper pack. So I love it when I don't have to do a whole lot of thinking. I can just kind of pull out my cardstocks, my inks, any designer paper that coordinates with it, and go to town. Just start creating. All right, so I'm gonna do my centers first, and I am just filling in. I'm not worried about too much because you never know. I'm not worried, I guess, too much about going outside. I just kind of fill in the dots a little bit and then kind of drag it in. So that's 2 tips for using our Stampin' Right markers. Now for the flower, I am using the dark and the light fresh freesia, and I like to start with the dark and add my accents, just kind of the shadowing or highlight, I think is maybe a better term. I'm just going to give it a little bit of highlight, and I'm not too worried about staying within the lines. I'm just gonna, and I'm using the bullet end of my marker, and I'm just going to kind of give little highlights here on the outer petals like that, and then I can do the same with this one. So all 3. And you don't have to do a lot of pressure with these markers. They've got a lot of ink in them that will, so these markers, I spent, you know, a good, I don't know, maybe a couple hours coloring 20 of these. So you know, there's a lot of ink in here. So it's gone through 20 cards already that I've made using this set of Stampin' blends. So if you're ever curious, you know, how long they will last, I haven't had any run out yet. So, all right, we'll just go around here. All right, so we have okay, now we're going to start coloring in and blending, and I'm not worried about too much of the overlapping. I'm just kind of blending the dark with the light. And go on to the next one. And kind of fill in the gaps around the little pollinated area. Like that. If you want to add a little bit of blending, you can kind of go around those areas that have been highlighted previously. All right, and then our last one. And can see that I'm not, you know, trying to be extra particular in my coloring. So if you're intimidated with these Stampin' blends, there's no reason to. Just start coloring. And there we go. And if, like I said, if I wanted to kind of highlight again with my light, I can just go around those areas to give it a little bit more blending, like that. All right, next we have the Parakeet Party, and I'm gonna go with the dark and do the exact same thing that I did with the Fresh Freesia. I'm gonna highlight the inner stem right there. And then the stem part that you see at the base of the flowers. I'm going to use the dark on this one. All right, then bring in the light and color in the rest of the leaves. And I love that these markers have such a nice point to them that I can get to the point of these leaves and not have to worry about over coloring outside the lines. And again, I did 20 cards with these markers, and they are nice and juicy yet. There we go. And we're just about done. There we go. And that's it. So next is to add this to our card front. And I'm going to set it like this so that I know not to go over the boundaries of the vellum, adding in my dimensionals, because I don't want it sticking to my card base. So I'm just gonna add these right here. And then we'll add one to the center. And we'll put it under here. And about right there. Perfect. Now I'm going to use mini dimensionals. Well, maybe not. I forgot my minis, so we'll go this direction because this is so skinny. I'm going to add a couple here. And add a little bit of glue so that this doesn't get caught on anything, because it's going to be the same height as my flower base right there, but I need to compensate for the height there. Let's see, so we're gonna do about like that. And there we go. That is our card for today. Look how easy that was. Hi, Clarine. Hey, Bernay. So nice to have you join me. Thank you. But this is a little sneak peek of what's to come in the new catalog that is en route, and some of the new colors. So as I'd mentioned, Stampin' Up! Is offering a bonus to anyone who wants to purchase the starter kit. And it just means that you can continue doing what you've been doing, purchasing your favorite products and getting a discount. But with your $99 starter kit, you fill it with $125 worth of product, plus you can add one of these groupings of ink colors to your kit. So it could be the ink pad collection, it could be the grid paper, it could be the cardstock. It's a variety pack, and then there's also the ink color designer series paper. So you'll have plus get a selection of papers and inks from the new collection. And of course, more products means more crafting, which means more projects to inspire. So yeah, if you want to get your hands on this, this would be the great time to do so by purchasing the starter kit. So I'd love to visit with you. I'd love to have you join my Stampin' Up! Family and get you inspired even more with my group of wonderful crafting ladies. So anyway, I think we are set to flip us around. So let's do this. And let me think what you thought of this project that I have generated as a little sneak peek. Hopefully that has got your creative juices going and ready to peruse that catalog and add to your wish list. So, and that's the other thing, that if your wish list is already $100, it is so beneficial just to purchase the starter kit, because you get even more. You get $26 plus in colors that you can get with your starter kit. So kind of think of that, and then also understand that 20% off on your future purchases is another wonderful perk as well. So I wish you all, hi Ellen, hey Margaret, so good to see you. Thanks for all the hearts, I love it. So have a great Sunday. I will see you next week. So until then, leave any questions that you have for me. Contact me via messenger, via text, or email, and I would love to visit with you. So have a great one. Bye.